Hi friends, my name is Angela Parker. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Realized Worth. And based in Baltimore, Maryland, I'm so grateful for the chance to connect with you today. Just for some quick background, Realized Worth started in 2008, and we partner with companies around the world to design volunteering and giving programs that are scalable and measurable and meaningful. And through that work, through all of these years of that work, I've had the opportunity to see how volunteering can be genuinely powerful, and not just for communities, which is an essential part, but also for the people who step forward to help, for you and me, for the volunteers themselves. So today I just want to take a few minutes to share 3 benefits of volunteering, some of which will be affirming to what you already know, and some of which might even be new. I hope some of them are. So first, volunteering is actually good for us physically and emotionally. You may have heard this referred to as the helper's high. When we help another person, our brains release endorphins and other neurochemicals and hormones that create a feeling very similar to what you might refer to as natural morphine. Helping literally helps us feel better, and it specifically helps us feel better than we were feeling before. And it is not an accident. Over thousands of years of human evolution, communities that helped each other are the ones that survived, communities that didn't struggle. Our biology has learned to reward helping behavior. So we're wired for it. That's why you see research that talks about humans being wired to help. Volunteering, it taps right into that wiring. It improves our mood. It strengthens our sense of connection with others, which is key to thriving. It contributes to our overall well-being. The second thing is volunteering gives us an outlet for something that we're already deeply driven to do, which fundamentally is helping. But there's something a little bit more profound about that than you may assume. So when you and I see someone else in pain, there are these mirror neurons in our brains that light up, and we physically, literally feel their pain too. It's not just empathy. We are physically feeling their pain. Our instinct then is to intervene, to do something to stop their pain because we want to stop our own pain. It's this amazing symbiosis that, again, has kept us alive as human beings because we're tied to each other's survival in such a beautiful way. But when we can't intervene, when we can't help, our other instinct, our secondary instinct, is to look away, is to avert our eyes, because witnessing suffering without the ability to respond is literally painful to us. When we can help, when we can voluntarily step in, when we can act on behalf of someone else, the cognitive dissonance resolves, because as their pain subsides, our pain does too. And even if we're helping indirectly in a way that we're not sure directly addresses the pain we observed that's bothering us, it is a way for us to work out that dissonance, work out that feeling, all of the negative hormones like cortisol that pop up, and removes the barrier to continued helping. We're able to step forward, we're able to do something and remain effective. And the third thing is volunteering expands and deepens our empathy. So when we step into unfamiliar communities, when we engage with issues that are outside our everyday experience, we naturally encounter people and other lives and realities that we just don't think about, we just don't see. In familiar environments, the things that we encounter every day, they tend to reinforce the things we already believe, what we already assume is true about life and the world and how things are the way they are. But new environments and new relationships, they show us things that we didn't notice, but specifically about ourselves, assumptions that we hold, that we don't realize that we carry, perspectives that we haven't considered. Volunteering is this incredible arena that we could sort of enter and allow our field of vision to be expanded. It allows us to begin to understand, to have knowledge of, to care for issues and the people who are affected by them in ways that we just otherwise can't. And that is where empathy begins, and it is where empathy deepens. And empathy matters because the decisions that shape our workplaces, our communities, our society are made by people. And when those decisions are grounded in and driven by empathy, the outcomes are more thoughtful, they're more inclusive, they're more humane. So those are 3 powerful, life-changing, world-changing, social movement driving benefits. Volunteering supports health and happiness. It gives us an outlet for the blocking that can happen when we have a desire to help. It allows us to work through that, and it expands our empathy and our awareness of others in a way that really changes the way that we interact, the decisions that we make. And there's one more thing here that's really important to remember, and I'll leave you with this. I know sometimes when we think about the big social challenges, this is another reason it can feel really overwhelming. It feels like we have to do big things, massive movements, tons of time, huge commitments to do anything about those things. But I want to invite you to remember that meaningful change almost always begins the same way, and it is really small, with one person just deciding to show up one time. It does not have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be huge. Often the best place to start is just to think about a cause or a thing, a group of people, an issue that resonates with you and your own values, personally, your passions, your interests. When that alignment happens, volunteering isn't an obligation anymore. It's more like an extension of you, of your identity. That identity connection is so huge. But again, it doesn't have to take a ton of time. So my invitation is, consider signing up for one thing, just one activity, maybe even something that's just like a little bit challenging, a little bit outside your comfort zone. And then when you go to that activity, when you volunteer, I invite you to pay attention not only to what you're giving, certainly, again, that matters, that is essential, that is the center, but also to what you're receiving. Notice connections, notice that perspective expansion, perspective transformation, and notice the way that you begin to understand an issue or a group of people in ways that maybe just challenge the assumptions that you had about them a little bit. Notice what begins to develop in you in terms of empathy. Volunteering is such a beautiful space where we can become better versions of ourselves, become the kind of people that we want to be anyway. Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you for the wonderful work you do in the world. I hope I get to hear your stories.